on IITC channel of safety management system. We have seen element number 1 to 13, and I have explained you that we are going to discuss 15 elements of safety management system. Let me make it again very clear that there are sometimes 6 elements, 8 elements, 10 elements, 12 elements and 15 elements. But number of element does not say or will not say that less number of elements management system is not effective, or higher number of safety element of safety management system is more effective. I have intentionally chosen 15 elements to explain you each and every element clearly, so that you can go back, check and say that whether your safety management system is needs any modification or any requirement. Guys, I request you, if you need any help from my side, please put in the comment section. I will come back to you ASAP. In 14 elements, we are going to see the very important thing of safety management system is emergency response and planning. In this module, we are going to see these are the basic minimum points, but not limited to. There are much more things. We will see that what are the steps of emergency response planning. What should be covered in ERP, means emergency response plan. What do you mean by PIP? Guys, please hold until the end so that you understand the various techniques of emergency response plan. Sometimes it is also known as on-site response plan or on-site emergency response plan. What should be done? What should be the frequency of mock drill? That we will also see. Guys, I will request you to please subscribe the channel so that you can get all this information in advance, and please do not forget to press this bell icon, and I would request you to please send this link to your friends. Guys, these are the 15 elements. We have seen up to 13 elements. Now we are on 14 element. This is emergency response plan. As I told you that there are videos, there are presentation of all the elements on IITC channel. I would encourage you, request you, advise you, please go back and see the video as per your requirement. If you have some specific requirement, please come back in the comment section. We would love to help you, respond you. Emergency response planning, this is known as ERP. The objective is very simple: to establish a written response plan to mitigate consequences arising from potential emergency situation and to familiarize employees with the response procedure in case of any emergency. So every company must have written document to identify all the possible emergency scenarios, to identify what things to be done in case of emergency, to make the practice so that your people can respond in case of any emergency, and you have to inform all this in emergency response situation to each and every employee, beginning from your visitor, contractor, bottom management, middle management, top management, worker. The factory should establish procedure to identify emergency situation, likelihood, and assess the impact. Implement the emergency response plan at each level of organization. That means we need to have emergency organization structure. Who will do what, responsibilities and roles has to be clarified. Maintain up-to-date emergency response plan. The reason is, it is first thing, it is an emergency plan, response plan, on-site response plan or on-site emergency plan is one of the statutory requirement, one of the legal requirement, and this has to be updated based on our learnings, based on mock drill, based on legal requirement, based on any incident or accident. Unfortunately, emergency plan shall cover at least but not limited to following: fire scenarios, explosion scenarios, toxic gas leak scenarios, chemical spill scenarios, failure and structure scenarios, and natural calamity like earthquake, like flood. These all has to be addressed in the emergency response plan. And after identifying these scenarios, you have to identify what things to be done in case of respective emergency, and this has to be practiced in the mock drill. Mock drill has to be planned, and the frequency of mock drill is to be done based on your processes, your equipment, legal requirement, so that your people are trained, right? The emergency response plan should include establishing an emergency team as well as responsibility. We should have emergency organization structure, so that there is a on-site commander is there is a rescue team is there is a firefighting team is there is a explosion mitigation team is there is a health team is there are every team related to safe or damage control should be identified, and this has to be practiced in advance so that we can do a damage control in case of any unfortunate event. Appoint on-site commander who shall direct the execution of emergency. Procedure of notification and raising the alarm. Who will notify it? Who will raise the alarm? What kind of alarm has to be raised? There should be PAGA system, PAGA system, public address and gathering system. There should be siren, and siren should be audible from each corner of company. Procedure for evacuation and rescue must be identified to rescue and evacuate the people in case of any emergency. Procedure and means for rescue and first aid must be identified so that we can do damage control. Means of communication with relevant government people, with media, with agency, with family members, with top management, with associate mutual aid response group has to be clearly identified. Number of each and everybody has to be updated so that there is no problem in case of any emergency, and one person should be made responsible to update this emergency response plan on time depending on regular requirement. Question is, when to update emergency response plan? As per statutory requirement, as per OEM requirement, if there is any change of hazard, if there is any accident, if there is any other guideline. Emergency response plan shall be documented and effectively communicated to all employees, beginning from the visitor, contractor, workman, supervisor, middle management, top management, and senior management. Emergency response plan should have a drill, and each and every scenario should be discussed and practiced at least once in a year, depending on the severity and sincerity of your process, plant, and machine. Evacuation drill must be performed to identify people, understand it, how to muster it, how to do head counting. Guys, I am going very fast. If you have any problem in understanding, I would request you to please pause the video and try to understand. If you have any suggestion or requirement on a specific module or any training, please put into the comment section. We will come back to you. Factory shall establish training program for the drill and exercises, and individual and integrated emergency response plan and team should be there. The roles and responsibilities should be clarified in the plan, and everybody should understand what they are supposed to do in case of any emergency. Guys, we have seen this thing very quickly. I hope you understand it, and this information was useful for you. Now let us understand the question. Now that it is your turn, you need to answer the question. What are the steps of emergency response planning? We have seen it. If you are not able to recollect it, I would request you to please go back in the video and see it. What should be covered in ERP? We have mentioned everything. It has been clarified. Please, try to stress your brain and you will give the answer. What do you mean by PIP? Yes, PIP we have not explained. Let me explain it. PIP means pre-incident plan. We have to identify all possible emergency scenario. We have to make pre-emergency plan so that we can practice pre-emergency plan, so that we can do damage control in case of emergency. We have to do the drill of PIP of all scenarios. What should be done? What should be frequency of mock drill? Minimum once in a 12 month, or depending on scenario, depending on your accident scenario, depending on statutory requirement, depending on law of land. Guys, I hope this information was useful for you. If you have any question, any doubt, any suggestion, please feel free to put in the comment section so that we can come back to you appropriately. Guys, with this, thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.